Thank you for staying with us right here in Voice of the People 92.3 FM. And this is the Evening Rush. Unfortunately, Sadio Kamara, Mali's defense minister, has been killed in a coordinated wave of attacks on military targets across the country. Kamara reportedly died after a vehicle-borne explosive detonated outside his residence in Kati, a heavily fortified garrison town about 15 kilometers northwest of Bamako, the capital, where interim President Assimi Goïta and other junta leaders also reside. The attack occurred on Saturday when the jihadist fighters linked to Al-Qaeda and Tuareg rebel groups launched simultaneous assaults nationwide, including on the junta stronghold in Kati. The attackers were said to have carried out a suicide car bombing that destroyed the defense minister's residence. Kamara and at least 3 members of his family were said to have been killed in the blast. This brings us back to Nigeria, where we have been having experiences of coordinated terrorist attacks across the country. The defense minister of defense right here, that's Mr. Christopher Musa, has warned about the violence, tension, volatility in the Sahel, which obviously has broken even to the Nigerian territory. The United States of America has also disclosed to us that we have about 30 different terrorist organizations resident in Nigeria, specifically at the outskirts of the north, and recently coordinated efforts with ISWAP and ISIS right here, heavily fortified in states like Sokoto and Borno State. This state seems to be the haven of this terrorists. Recently, one of the second in command global of ISIS was murdered in Borno State, and indications have emerged that most of these terrorists and their cells operated across Nigeria. The Minister of Defense has warned on several occasions about some international collaboration with terrorists at the Tuareg region as well as the Sahel, warning expediently on the closure of Nigeria's borders. What one is worried about is if it is not too late. In Mali as well, they've been experiencing coordinated attacks by these terrorists with sophisticated weapons. Most of their garrison and military bases have been attacked expeditiously recently. In fact, there are talks that these areas where the terrorist attacks have been very volatile are areas that leads to the Atlantic, and the plan is to actually take over most of the West African region because of the oil wells and the oil installation. And there are talks that if the Nigerian government, specifically Nigeria, which is one of the most populated countries in West Africa, is not careful, this is basically what is going to happen. This has led to profiling of individuals across the country. Right now, people are apprehensive, there is panic, people are scared, and anyone who actually looks like somebody from the north or somebody who is a Fulani, who doesn't have any work they're doing, who could be walking around aimlessly or even caught with a cutlass, whatever, could actually be lynched by mobs. And the Nigerian government has warned that everyone should be careful, and in as much as the insecurity in the country is causing this fear and apprehension, caution needs to be taken. Now the big question is, should Nigerians start walking about with a verified ID card? There are fears that these terrorists are almost all over the country, and they have their cells and operations. They're just waiting for an order to activate themselves. So far they have been heavily included in banditry, kidnapping. God knows what the monies are being used for. There are talks that these persons have ties with persons in government, but however, the Nigerian government has disputed and denied that they are involved or sponsoring any of these activities. Rather, they're blaming the opposition for deliberately causing insecurity in the country to destabilize the government. Overwhelmingly, however, Nigeria seems to be battling with more than a decade-long habitation of these individuals unbothered in Nigeria. The Buhari administration did not take a decisive action in eliminating these guys, and they were in charge of several communities where there was no government presence. So far, Oyo State is on the news, everyone is talking about it, but beyond Oyo State, in Kwara, we've heard about terrorist activities consistently taking there. More than 176 individuals kidnapped, 100 of them recently have been converted to Islam, and there's going to be a graduation ceremony. No one is talking about that. They're asking to negotiate with the Nigerian government, and they're even saying that with the way they have been taking care of them, they would include all of those expenses when they want to negotiate with the Nigerian government, including the families of these victims. We also know of Ngoshe, where they have up to 416 captives Nigerians within their custody, and they said that the Nigerian government should not use any military formation to come into their camp, that they want to negotiate directly with the government. The government of the day said enough is enough. They will no longer use money to compensate these individuals, because anytime they do so, these guys keep coming back. Sheikh Gumi has alleged that the Nigerian government knows who these guys are, knows where they stay, knows how they go about their activities. So in other words, he's saying basically the fact. People are calling for his head by saying the DSS should actually arrest him. He seems to know quite a lot of what is going on when it comes to insecurity. But Sheikh Gumi has said the Nigerian government knows who these individuals are, knows their locations, knows their hideout. The Zamfara state governor has come out on several occasions to make allegations against Minister of State Bello Matawale. He also disclosed that he knows the enclaves, the caves and locations of where this terrorist resides. All he needs is basically effort with security to accompany, and they can do what they need to do if they had it within their jurisprudence to give order to the military without having to refer to the federal government or to the Nigerian army from the federal government to put a team to do what needs to be done in eliminating these guys. So far, the talk and criticism on the Nigerian government is a lack of willingness to do something needful in eliminating these individuals. Bola Ahmed Tinubu supporters have come out to tell us that insecurity has been existing long before the All Progressives Congress came on board. However, talks, videos and comments made by Bola Ahmed Tinubu are in opposition that the bulk of the job of securing the country rests on the table of the executive, and that if the executive cannot handle it, then the executive should resign. He was referring to Goodluck Abela Jonathan. So Nigerians are saying if Bola Ahmed Tinubu cannot protect the citizens of Nigeria, then he needs to resign. And on what platform, what template is he going to campaign for in 2027? Meanwhile, Babachir Lawal made heavy allegations against Atiku Abubakar, the presidential candidate of the ADC. So far, the ADC has responded, and there are talks that if the claims made by Babachir Lawal that Atiku Abubakar may be a warlord or have some affiliation with this terrorist, then the investigation needs to be called for. So the question is, investigation commences, does Babachir Lawal have the evidence to prove that Atiku is involved in any form of insecurity, or he is in charge of insecurity? And being that in that aspect of the conversation, which brings us to political circle, peterobi of the NDC, Atiku Abubakar of the ADC, even Omoyele Sowore of the AAC, everyone has been criticizing the government of the day for not being able to secure the country. So the platform is 2027. Peterobi has talked about one of the reasons why insecurity continues to prevail, and it's because of poverty and obviously illiteracy. And he's saying that he's going to be at the forefront in tackling this. Going to be a collaborative effort with the indigents who, according to the Minister of Defense, collaborate and sponsor and support these guys. Some of them are afraid of reporting the activities of these guys, so their families are not eliminated. Peterobi said they would involve the indigents of these areas mostly affected by insecurity. There will also be a dialogue as to what exactly is the problem, and if that cannot bring a resolution, they will use technology to see how they can eradicate these individuals and see how a sense of peace can be brought in to the country. Omoyele Sowore has said he's going to use every fortification within his jurisprudence to ensure that insecurity no longer hinders development and the movement of Nigerians across the country. There's a lot of talks by these individuals on how they think they can deal with this, but the true question is, it's a different thing when you are at the trenches, when you are out there and you're not in there, to see how you can decisively deal with this. Others have said this insecurity is a thing of a cabal, is a way they use to control the government. Possibly the president may be a puppet in the hands of some oligarchs. We're going to be discussing that. But in the case of Babachir Lawal precisely, what evidence can he provide if investigations will commence on the allegations he made on national television? I spoke with Barrister Fred Nzako during the world news, and I said I was going to call him very briefly to actually give us some details, because there was no time for him to speak extensively on what he knows about Atiku Abubakar and the statement made by Babachir Lawal. But in 2023, Barrister Fred Nzako worked for Atiku Abubakar, heavily campaigned for him. He's one of the persons, some persons will say that make some general statement that most of the support of peterobi came from the southeast. Barrister Fred Nzako was not one of them. For him, he believed in restructuring, but we want to understand what was the idea in the ADC and what he knows, and if indeed there is any supposed relief if a particular candidate can do better than Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Barrister Fred, good evening. Thank you for joining us once again. Very briefly, remember I said I was going to ask you a question concerning what you know about Atiku Abubakar and your stay in the ADC. What changed your mind from you supporting Atiku Abubakar in 2023 because of restructure? I know very well because I called you on several occasions. You were always up and going. There were one meetings or the other, one campaign procedure or the other that you were going to monitor and be part of. What changed your mind? Because you joined the ADC as well, and we all knew what the ADC was put together for. So what happened? What changed your mind?
Well, in 2003, Esther, I was the national coordinator of the movement for Atiku for President. We called it Coalition for Atiku for President 2007. It was launched in 2003. We sent out over 50,000 letters to notable Nigerians and groups, urging them to support the presidency of Atiku in 2007. As at then, we believed that the understanding between the North and South will be better furthered, that the North will occupy the presidency after Obasanjo's presidency would have ended in 2007, which lasted from 1999 to 2007. And we also anchored our belief on the understanding that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, as the vice president then, would have learned the rope and would no longer be a neophyte in national leadership. The third reason why we advocated for Atiku was because the Northeast geopolitical zone had not produced a president of Nigeria, and if we have to understand the arrangement of the zonal arrangement in the country, that it favored the Northeast, because as at then, even the military leaders that had ruled Nigeria, a lot of them came from the Northwest and partly from essentially from Northwest. So we handled that movement. It was a very strong coalition that was segmented on three layers of the national, state, and local government levels. But what scuttled it was the ambition of the then President Obasanjo when he started thinking of the third term agenda. In fact, we were the first set of people to know, to be informed about such ambition by the then President Olusegun Obasanjo, which eventually was what scuttled our campaign and scuttled even the national press conference that we were to grant to launch that campaign. Fast forward to 2023. Atiku, I had been with him on several occasions where he spoke gloriously about restructuring of Nigeria. I had sat down since 2000 to articulate Nigeria's economy, politics, and national life. And I came to an inevitable conclusion that only restructuring anchored on true fiscal federalism will put Nigeria on the path of progress and growth. We have had this narrative and this discussion over time, and the people have come up with their various definitions of restructuring. But what all the descriptions, all the understandings tap out to the fact that Nigeria needs to be restructured. Whether you call it along the lines of the zonal arrangements, away from the regional pattern that we had in the First Republic, because we had even brought out the template that will support the general arrangement that we have today. And the purpose of the major reasons why we had advocated for that was the need for growth, need for security, and need for oneness. Because Nigeria continue to operate on the paradigm of disunity and an unbridled tribalism, and we felt that restructuring would not just restructure the polity, but also restructure the morality and the socio-economic fabric of Nigeria in line with the socio-political aspirations of the people, whereby people will grow along the line of true fiscal federalism, because we believe that every part of Nigeria is so massively, divinely, naturally blessed that we don't need to be jealous of another part. All we need to do is to harness and harvest our natural resources to our progress and our growth and development. So that was what led to my support for Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. As a matter of fact, I was his spokesperson in Anambra State, officially assigned that role, even though I didn't ask for it. But the people called me and said we should please help to market Atiku in Anambra and the Igbo land. And why doing that? I did that very, very carefully because I respected the personality of Mr. Peterobi, whom I know and whom I have always known has huge capacity to do what is right. But I was angling my support for Atiku then on restructuring. And up to today, anybody who will restructure this country will get my support.
You don't think now in the ADC that Atiku is still not on restructuring? For you to have stayed with him to achieve that, he's now the presidential candidate in the ADC.
Yes, the times have changed a lot. And we have seen that even those who, because it was part of that made Buhari and his team to campaign on restructuring. Current President Bola Ahmed Tinubu joined his party APC to campaign on restructuring. It was a huge dialogue. And at the end of the day, don't forget that even the 2014 National Conference under President Jonathan was anchored essentially on restructuring. And everybody believed that when we restructure our polity, Nigeria will be reset and placed on the trajectory of growth and development, anchored on unity and respect for one region for another. But today, so many things have changed. So many things have changed. And of course, you know that change is a constant factor in human evolution. Now my support for Mr. Peterobi is anchored on the fact that I have x-rayed all the presidential candidates, including that of the current president, and I have found no one more passionate about making Nigeria a better country. Mr. Peterobi's advocacy is anchored on productivity. And as a development economist, I know that productivity across board would be akin to restructuring and will bring out the very best in all parts of Nigeria. And that if Nigerian people do not want to sit down, look themselves in the eye like the Americans did in 1704, in 1776, if they cannot do that, they should at least be able to sit themselves down and become more productive. Because the very moment we become productive across board, I can tell you that maybe that will be the beginning of the resetting of the mind towards ensuring that, okay, if I can be productive at my own sector, then you are productive at your own sector. Then we now begin to think of, I don't want my productivity to be wasted. The same way you don't want your own productivity to be wasted. And it will naturally lead to a restructured polity. Because you bring yours, I bring mine, we all grow. In the absence of such mindset of productivity, we are only thinking about consumption. We're only thinking about borrow and distribute. We're only thinking about where the governors will be more interested in signing budget instead of ensuring that our natural resources are harnessed. In a country where 70% of our oil production is stolen, and over 75% of our natural solid mineral resources are stolen, how can a country grow under such a shameful reality? And that is why we continue to say that that man who has that passion, that man who has that integrity, that man who has that track record of subduing his personal idiosyncratic greed, that man who can deny himself and then align with the people, is that man that we must vote to lead this country. And that man is Peterobi. I have no apologies for that, because I know him, and Nigerians know him, and that is why they continue to be afraid of what he can bring. I tell you, Esther, anybody who is against Mr. Peterobi is against him for personal reasons. One, either the person is benefiting from the rot in the country. After all, those who are stealing the solid minerals, you think they want a leader who will stop them? Those who are stealing the oil, you think they want to see a leader who will stop them? And these are people who are causing the troubles in the land. So when they begin to talk, they say, oh, I'm not a politician, but I know that I support so and so. Go and fact check them. They are benefiting somehow, directly or indirectly. The second group of people are the people who are obviously hanging on and benefiting from the current terrible malfunctional structure of the country, either as party men or as benefactors of the terrible situation. The third group of people are family members and cronies and friends of those in government. It's that outside these three sets of people I have enumerated, every other reasonable Nigerian will want that leader who will take this country away from the current doldrum that we have. And Nigerians are unanimous in agreement that Mr. Peterobi holds the ace in leading this country out of the terrible quagmire we're in. What we have not concluded is that we have not decided how to handle those who are benefiting from the current bad situation. And that is why Nigerians must use their thumbs on the day of election to determine their fate. Anything short of that, Esther, I tell you, if I'm afraid, very deeply afraid for the future of Nigeria.
Barrister Fred Nsako, thank you so much. And very quickly, Babachir Lawal, like I briefly asked you during the world news, made some claims, and you said that it's their problem, they can resolve it. But in regards to how the polity is at this moment, some persons have described Atiku as one who is greedy, desperate, wanting to go into power, and some critics have alleged that, like Babachir Lawal said, that he could be worse than Tinubu. How can Atiku be worse? For example, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had in time past said that restructuring was needed. He doesn't believe in one Nigeria. In the same breath, the president has said the Southwest and the Fulanese are one. They have the same idea, they have the same dream for Nigeria. What changed between then and now? As in, is it to be forgiven if what the president thought at the time is no longer his ideal? Just like you changed your mind after 2023 and now you're supporting Peterobi, is it ideal that what the president thought was what it was supposed to be then has changed now that he is there? The times have changed and he has a right to change his ideal. I mean, what's your take on that very quickly?
Is there any leader who wants to restructure this country and who is definite and passionate about it will receive my support anytime, any day.
There are talks that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is subtly introducing restructuring with everyone clamoring that we want to focus on. At this moment, that is the conversation across most social media platforms amongst most Nigerians. Let's go our different ways. We cannot be one. Let's mind our business. The Southwest say they want to be on their own. The Southeast also say they want to declare their own country. But the president has kept on preaching. We cannot do it in isolation. We are one Nigeria, and that's basically what Nigeria represents. So, like I said, don't you think that somehow that is where Nigeria is tilting towards?
I think it would be very, very unfair to humanity if, after wasting the lives of over 3 million people in 1967 to 1970, we turn around to do that which you would have done over 50 years ago. It will be very, very unfair, very, very uncharitable to humanity. But if that becomes the last option, I tell you that it won't be a bad option. If that becomes the last option, it won't be a bad option. But an option that should be better than that is an option of restructuring, whereby in the Southeast they will have opportunity to grow at their pace. In the Southwest, they will grow at their pace. Ditto the North Central, the Northeast, the Northwest, and the South-South. We have 6 geopolitical zones. Today, the 6 geopolitical zones are not equal in number of states and the number of local governments. But with the structuring, it will not matter. Because if the Southeast will utilize and harness its resources, it doesn't matter whether they have only 5 states or so number of local governments. And I tell you that if money is no longer shared at the federation account, many states in the north will begin to shrink the number of local governments that they have because it will become unwieldy. Nigeria is a land of deceit and the pretenses and hypocrisy, where we know the truth, we know the solution to our problems, but we don't want to embrace such solutions. We don't want to attack the problems frontally and headlong. We are talking about states that are not productive, states that are unable to pay their salaries, the salaries of their staff, states that are unable to stand on their own if money does not come from the federation account. And where is that money coming from? From the oil-rich Niger Delta. Meanwhile, the golden goose that lays the golden hen is allowed to famish. Government launched cleanup campaign of Niger Delta. Today, where is it? Nothing is happening. A lot of money has been spent and sunk in. They brought in United Nations, brought in African Union, as if they were serious about it. Go to Niger Delta, you see that nothing is going on. If anything is happening there, it is very, very infinitesimal relative to the quantum of problems created by oil exploration and the oil exploitation in the area. Today, the north central and the northwest that is rich in solid minerals, large chunk of the minerals are stolen. The only thing you hear from time to time is that the illegal mines have caved in and have killed so many people. Many of them are not even reported, and like we pretend as if it doesn't happen. We have vast forests that can be tapped and utilized for agriculture to feed our people and even feed the whole of Africa. Instead of us exploiting the forests for productivity, we allow terrorists to occupy the forest, and the forests have turned to curses instead of blessings to the land. God did not create land for man as a curse. Nigeria is blessed with 923.6 thousand kilometers of land, out of which over 700,000 kilometers is arable land. Yet, we can feed ourselves. Isn't it a shame that in a country, and that's why when you listen to Mr. Peterobi, you will not fall in love with him, because he goes with facts and statistics. That Holland, if Holland is giving just the land of Niger State, Holland will feed the whole of Europe. Israel, if Israel is giving just the land of Kogi State, they will feed the whole of Middle East. And we have all that vast arable land without earthquake, without tsunami, without natural disaster. All we do here is human disaster in terms of leadership that does not reason beyond its nostril. And you think that God will be happy with his creation in Nigeria? I tell you, only that is why each time we plead with God to please forgive us our sins, because Nigerian leaders are sinners, terrible sinners, who have breached the oath of humanity and the expectations of divinity. I can tell you this, and it is hurting, very, very hurting, that we know what to do to make life meaningful for everybody, and we intentionally, maliciously and mischievously, tribalistically and sectionally decide not to do what is right. And you think that humanity will respect us and that divinity would clap for us? We are a terrible disappointment to nature. Nigerian leaders are a terrible disappointment to nature.
Barrister Fred Nzako, thank you so much. I sincerely do appreciate your time today. You actually did try for me, so thank you so much for that. I just needed to understand better because you were, close to Atiku for a while now, at least since 2023. So we needed to know what Babachir Lawal was saying, what sense he actually had to make in regards to the statement he made on national television. Thank you so much, Barrister Fred.
Thank you.
All right. My next analyst this evening is Barrister Eze Eluche. Barrister Eze Eluche is a political, national and social affairs commentator. Barrister Eze Eluche has quite a lot to give us details on some of the issues that has transpired in the polity. Atiku has come out to rage out and say that INEC must investigate the data breach, especially that of Emeka Ike. There are fears that INEC may sell the data of Nigerians, specifically tilting towards favoring the All Progressives Congress. Barrister Eze Eluche, good evening. Thank you for joining us on the Evening Rush today, sir. How are you?
I'm very fine. Thank you very much for the invite.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate your patience. Barrister Eze Eluche, Emeka Ike last week Friday was lamenting he went to INEC office to protest concerning the primaries he was running for. Larry Olayinka, the spokesperson to Nyesom Wike, the FCT minister, released his data on Twitter, now known as X. When he did that, Nigerians said, "Excuse me, Mr. Larry, how did you get this personal information of these individuals with the CVR admin and it's at the back end, meaning that only INEC officials can access that information, that precise data, and release it out there?" Larry Olayinka did not apologize, said nothing, continued with his rage baiting on other tweets he was making on social media, and Nigerians kept on saying, why can't INEC speak? And this is a serious breach, privacy breach. In regards to that, INEC took a long time in responding, so eventually they did today by telling us that they were investigating it and that the DSS was into it. There are also talks that Larry Olayinka could be called in, but some Nigerians believe that nothing will happen. Now, I'm going to use the opportunity to assure Nigerians that their data is safe and that it's only one incident, and that the staff that was responsible for accessing that profile and releasing it to Larry Olayinka is also being investigated. But now Nigerians don't trust INEC with this particular breach. They are saying their data is not safe and INEC could collude to possibly mutilate or add or reduce or delete persons' profiles that would favor the All Progressives Congress. What's your take on this?
Thank you very much. I think that the INEC has just been caught pants down. What Nigerians have been fearing for quite a while has just manifested. That this INEC, headed by this character that Tinubu appointed, is just an extension of the APC. Because the breach that occurred is very fundamental. That tells you that somebody in the APC structure has access to all data in the INEC database. Yours, mine, everybody. And with that, they can manipulate all the figures. They can manipulate whatsoever. The fact that it took INEC this long, only after Nigerians had begun to protest, had begun to rail against the breach, is very, very instructive. If Nigerians had not even begun to protest, perhaps this thing would have been swept down the carpet and nothing would have come of it. But more important is this. When Mr. Matthew El Rufai, just boasted on TV that he had breached the communication of the National Security Advisor, in a twinkle of an eye, the DSS, the NSA, everybody was on the El Rufai. They picked him and they threw him in jail. He's still going through that process. What Larry Olayinka did is far worse than what Mr. El Rufai merely boasted about. Because Larry Olayinka went to the INEC database, that is the foundation of our democracy, that is the root of the votes that will be counted, lifted somebody's personal data and brandished it on social media. Until date, neither the National Security Officer, National Security Advisor, the DSS, the police have stepped in. And all INEC has to tell us is that they are going to investigate. What nonsense investigation are they talking about? This is a clear-cut case that somebody has breached protocol, has broken into the INEC database, and if not that Nigerians protested, nothing will come of this. So if they are still investigating, perhaps they should also release El Rufai. What did El Rufai do? El Rufai merely just boasted on TV that he has access to the intercepted Nuhu Ribado's communication, which is neither here nor there. But Larry Olayinka was caught. In fact, he wasn't even caught. Brandished the information on social media, and he till now no apology, either from Larry Olayinka or his boss, Nyesom Wike. And all INEC has to dare to tell us is that they're investigating what? They can keep their investigation to themselves. Nigerians have lost all confidence in this INEC. And I keep on saying, until you remove this head of the INEC, this prof who claims to be the head of INEC, who has been severally caught in malpractices, because this is a very severe electoral malpractice.
Yes, it is.
Nigerians should not just, yes, we shouldn't just look at it as somebody's data was posted. No. If he can do this, look, many of us will even go to the polling unit on that day and will not be able to see our names on our polling stations. If you go to the polling unit and you are told, I'm in Owerri, for instance, and I'm told that my name is now appearing in Sokoto, that means I can't vote. Where will I make the noise? Where will I raise the issue? Because what this Lagos issue has told us is that the APC echelon can manipulate the process. And as far as I'm concerned, we should have no, but I never had anyone, but Nigerians should, if they had an iota of confidence in the current INEC leadership, they should forget about it. Because these guys cannot, and they will never, and they were not even sworn in to give us a free and credible elections. Thank you very much.
Barrister Eze, thank you so much for that response. But that with this particular information, Barrister, Atiku is calling out INEC at this time by saying that what they did was dangerous and they're demanding a full probe. But there are talks that, as usual, so long as Amukito is a favorite of the current government, that nothing will happen. In fact, there are talks that, as usual, people will lament, complain. Over time, something comes and takes precedence, and the whole thing is swept under the carpet. They're saying that if the government of the day respected the rights of Nigerians, Lere Olayinka ought to have been sacked immediately. In fact, his principal, Nyesom Wike, ought to have demanded for him to be sacked. But they see the government of the day as a government that is not disciplined, has no institution for rules and regulations, so long as anything you do is in support of the government. And this is what has brought international criticism on the Nigerian government. The United States of American President Mr. Donald Trump has said that the administration of the government that is under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has not done anything decisive in handling the spate of insecurity, and so far they have awarded a loan about 5 million naira, or 5 million naira to any individual who can properly document all the genocide, all the attacks currently taking place in Nigeria. And they're going to give that person an award for that and possibly some leverage as well. A lot of Nigerians have been writing to the United States of America concerning the insecurity in Nigeria and the lack of political will with endemic corruption in the country. Barrister Eze Eliche, very quickly, with what we're currently seeing, the government of the day has distanced themselves from all of this criticism. But what points to the fact is the active apathy of the government of the day towards what is currently going on in the country. Do you think that though anything come out of this supposed investigation INEC has announced? That's one. Two, amongst all the candidates, amongst all the presidential candidates of these political parties, the challenges ahead in this country is immense. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is asking Nigerians to vote for him in 2027, that he is going to tackle all of these challenges. Do you think he has a fortification to do that?
Thank you very much. With regards to the very first question about whether anything come out from the INEC probe of Lere Olayinka,
yes,
that absolutely nothing. Nothing will come out of it. It will just be swept down the carpet, and that will be the end of it. I mean, if not for the public outcry, they wouldn't even have been talking about it. So just like the issue of the various the social media posts that the INEC chairman made in support of the APC before now, what has come of it? But I think what Nigerians should do is all these things will accumulate. We will keep on taking them down. At the appropriate time, Nigerians must move for the removal of this INEC chairman because he's totally incompetent and there is absolute no trust in his ability to deliver a free and credible election. With regards to Mr. Bola Tinubu's capacity to secure, to do good, for good governance, I mean, I can't reiterate, but I mean, we can only reiterate the fact that this man is clueless, he's bereft of ideas, he has enthroned nepotism, ethnicity, clannishness in his governance. He has shown that he is totally bereft of any iota of credibility to give us good governance. So what do you expect from him? In the course of the past 3 years plus, what is his pedigree? What has he shown? One would have thought that somebody who said he was his son, Emiloko, he had some ideas to address some problems that facing the Nigerian state. But surprisingly and ironically, all facets, all problems that are tackling Nigeria has worsened. And none whatsoever has this man called Bola Tinubu addressed in any way or has even ameliorated. Is it in the area of education? Is it in the area of security? Is it in the health sector? Is it sport? Is which area? Zero. In all ramifications. So what are we doing? I mean, what are you discussing with it?
But Barrister Eze, his supporters believe that he's mindful politically because he needs the support of these individuals who are currently exterminating Nigerians, that once he is re-elected, then his true form will unravel and no one's ox will actually be retained. He's going to do what needs to be done. But Nigerians have said, if you are petting these guys because you need them to support you for 2027, what if there is no Nigeria at that time? Then why have you not done something about it?
In that line is misguided. If you remember, Bola Tinubu told us he was the same thing with Muhammadu Buhari because he was part of the Buhari government. So he and Buhari are one.
His supporters said it's a political statement. He just had to say so to retain the Buharis in the team.
Well, whatever political, but we know it's real. We know it's the truth. Because the same system, the same is what he still adopted. The same blindness to Nigerian problem is what he still adopted. The same insensitivity, the same cluelessness is what he has adopted. Now, this Buhari regime invited these terrorists. I mean, and I'm not just making imaginary statements. Key officials of the Buhari government narrated to Nigerians how they went in and brought these terrorists to help them remove Goodluck Jonathan. And they have continued to use the terrorists for their own diabolical political aims. And I keep on referring to what happened on the 28th of February 2013, when the APC bigwigs took a walk of shame down the streets of Maiduguri after Boko Haram had blown up Maiduguri. And because they are one, this is their kids and kin. Yeah. This is their brothers. This is the people that Nuhu Ribadu calls his brothers. This is the people that the Chief of Defense Staff, Oluyede, calls his brothers, that they are prodigal sons. So what will anybody expect this same Tinubu to tackle insecurity? It's not possible. The devil can't kill the demon. It doesn't work that way. I mean, they are kids and kin. So you don't expect anybody who's thinking that this regime will address insecurity either does not know the Nigerian social political environment or is just trying to play to the gallery. The reality is that Bola Tinubu and insecurity are one and the same, and they don't give a damn. Ironically, as the violence is creeping further and further down south, the violence has overwhelmed Kwara, is in Osun. The last one is happening in Oyo State, and there are even records of these terror cells located and seen in Ibejuleki and Ekwe and environs. It doesn't bother these people.
The Lagos state government and the Bejuleki local government chairman has come out to say that all of that information is false and it's not true.
It's which false? Look at your street. Look at the street like in Ebudemeta in Sule. Most of the neighborhoods there, you have jobless or aimless northerners. Mostly, and you don't know what they're doing. They come in their droves. They come in trailer loads. So they can make all these political comments, but Nigerians should be very, very careful because this regime has no interest in addressing insecurity. That is the bottom line of it. Because if they had interest, it wouldn't be this mess. Yes.
Barrister Eze, thank you so much. Just stay with us. We're going to be taking a very short break. Please stay with us. This is Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. My name is Esther Wachku. You've been listening to Barrister Eze Eluche. And obviously, we're going to a very short break. To kindly stay with us. The Evening Rush continues.
Lagos, are you ready for an overflow like never before?
It's the Interdenominational Hour of Revival Lagos and the Ministers, Leaders and Business Conference.
Hosted by Bishop David Abioye, get set for a divine encounter with the theme, Exceeding Grace.
Grace that breaks limits, grace that lifts you higher, grace that changes your story.
Date, Thursday 25th to Friday 26th June 2026.
Time 9 a.m. and 5:30 p.m. daily.
Venue, the Grand Jour Event Center, 17 Billings Way, Oregun, Ikeja, Lagos.
This is your moment for supernatural advancement, your moment for kingdom empowerment.
Ministers, leaders, business minds, step into your next level by grace.
Don't just hear about it, be there and experience it live. Hour of Revival Lagos, Exceeding Grace. Don't miss it.
You are listening to the number one station, the voice of the people, 90.3 FM. Do not touch that dial.
House dey dark and NEPA bill dey choke. E dey worry you as e dey affect your business. So no turn don come. Imagine say you wake up for morning, light no shake, fridge don block, business no get wahala, everything dey okay. No be dream o. With Yohaku, na you dey control your light. Yohaku dey sell gas cooker, freezer, fridge, and dem go furnish you with modern kitchen o. Whether na inverter, batteries, panels, smart street lights, be na solar AC system wey you wan use for house, business, abi for industrial work, Yohaku stand chim to help you. Bye to NEPA bill. No wait till transformer go spoil again o. Oh yeah, run call Yohaku for 070-121-30260 or 080-324-82573, or you fit to call 080-669-60066. For Lagos, we there for shop F1179 industrial section, or Joe Alaba International Market, or shop G6 electronic section, Alaba International Market, Headline, Ute Ubochi Plaza, Abuja office na Corporate 13, Dubai International Market, back of Games Village, Karo District for Abuja. For Port Harcourt, we there for number 51, Oporo Road, Eziowa Elite Trade Center for River State. Yohaku website na www.yohakuproducts.com. Online store na www.yohakustore.com. Yohaku, from sun to earth, we dey make your mind dey cool.
To the city's number one super dial, voice of the people, 90.3 FM, Lagos.
Hello, Mrs. Martins.
Yes. Oh, Mrs. Johnson, how may I help you?
Junior's body temperature is high and he's complaining about headaches and body aches.
Not to worry. Get Bruston and suspension.
Okay, ma. I'll call you back.
Bruston and Suspension for Children is a sweet-tasting brand of ibuprofen which provides relief against toothache, pains, and fever in children after 30 minutes.
Hello, ma. Oh, Junior, stop that.
Is everything okay, Mrs. Johnson?
Yes, ma. Junior is fine now. In fact, Junior, sorry, ma. I'll call you back.
Brustin and Suspension for Children. Always take the product after meal. If symptoms persist after 2 days, consult your doctor. A quality product from Rambaxay.
My people, oh, why you dey suffer for darkness when better solution dey? Fuel don cost, generator noise too much, but now steady light don easy. Na why Casco Electronic Company Limited dey here for you. We dey import and supply original solar product wey you fit trust. Powerful inverters, dry cell batteries, tubular and lithium batteries, charge controllers, solar panels, solar fridge, solar pumping machines, solar AC, solar lights, and many more. Whether na for your house or abi na for your office or na for your church, your shop or your business, Casco get quality solar solution wey go save your money and give you constant power supply. No fake product, no disappointment. Na original quality at affordable prices. Run come, make you visit our head office at FL 505 beside Union Bank, Alaba International Market, Ojo, Lagos, and other offices all over Nigeria. Make you call us for the phone number 0806 198 9695 or 0902 368 4970. Casco Electronic Company Limited, powering your life with reliable solar energy.
All right, welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. This is still the Evening Rush right here on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. We're back from the break. Barrister Eze Eluche, are you still with us, sir?
Yes, I am.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your patience, Barrister Eze Eluche. Continuing with the conversation, the Minister of Defense had actually told us that the Sahel region is going through its own red volatility. In fact, he said that he considered it a red zone. He said the Nigerian territory and the Nigerian border is extremely porous. When he was Minister of Defense at the time, he had reiterated on several occasions that the federal government needed to enhance the closure of the Nigerian border. That it's just an easy throw for you to cross into Nigeria from Niger, Cameroon, Burkina Faso, Mali, and all of these countries. And currently, these countries are going through their own insecurity. In fact, he says these guys in the Tuareg region are the one coming to take, hibernate and harbinger within Nigeria. The United States government has said we have about more than 36 terrorist organizations in Nigeria. And it's worrisome, Barrister, because these guys are well machinated, they have serious sophisticated weapons, and it's quite discouraging. But however, Barrister, in Mali, their defense minister was recently murdered. Their own defense minister in Mali was murdered. And it brings to the point of concern that is there a means of these guys to ensure that we do not have an indigenous government? There are talks that what they want to do is to have access to all installations. It's about a world power domination using religion, but the idea is not religion, it's about domination. Can you give us an explanation into this?
Thank you very much. I think the Minister of Defense is not telling the truth when he says, when he talks about the Sahel region. We should also remember that countries like Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Togo, and Benin Republic are on the same geographical level with Nigeria.
Yeah.
They are also sub-Sahel countries, and they are able to defend their borders. So that excuse by the Minister of Defense is nonsensical. Likewise, they claim that in Libya, something happened in Libya 10, 15 years ago. That's why everywhere it's flooded with terrorists. It's not true. None of those countries went all the way to bring in terrorists into their countries. You won't hear the Ghanaian leaders or the Beninois or Togolese or Cote d'Ivoire leaders saying that somebody went to bring in terrorists from the other countries to their country. That's what happened in Nigeria's case. So they should stop telling us all these stories. The next thing we hear from this so-called security chief, they'll tell you of kinetic and non-kinetic, just speaking crap grammar that is neither here nor there. Rather than address people that they are either complices or they are not even effective. That's the two things. And it's more likely that they are complices. Because when you look at when you face the realities of what they've been doing, I mean how these terrorists strike. Either there is a stand down of the troops, or that the troops allow them to go through, or that the troops are not even there until a few minutes after the killings have taken place. There's always one story or the other. So, Minister of Defense, please don't even come and tell Nigerians stories. The billions of naira that we allocate to the military is not what happens in other Sahel countries. It's more than what happens in Ghana, Togo, Benin combined. Yet they're able to defend their own territories. And here we're telling stories. In Nigeria, we are not able to give our soldiers enough rations. Those who are fighting and defending us in the battlefield. We see their rations, and then it is generals who are in Abuja who drive around in bulletproof cars and have mansions in Dubai and the US that will come and start telling us of a Sahel region and all that stuff. That's not true. There is lack of political will. There is even lack of intel to address this issue. For goodness sake, how is it possible that 200-300 terrorists can gather in a location, plot an attack, and effect the attack? And when this is a country that has a DSS, we have a military intelligence agency, we have all kinds of police and stuff, and they're not able to locate where 300 plus terrorists gather, and somebody is telling us of Sahel region. They should keep quiet. He doesn't know what to say. Thank you.
All right, Barrister, very quickly before I say something, because this is something that has been kept quiet. We had heard amongst opposition parties, some senators who did not get the return ticket into the All Progressives Congress for their re-election during the primary. A lot of them right now debunked, and those who went into another political party or those who decided to stay seem no longer to be part of promoting the party. Some of them are seriously disenfranchised, and right now they are speaking out. So today at the Senate, there was drama because APC senators were questioning Tinubu's loans to unpaid contractors. There was a heated confrontation during a closed-door session of the Senate today. Senator Kawu Somaila, representing Kano South, clashed with the Senate leadership over federal loans, abandoned projects, and alleged political deals. Trouble started when Somaila criticized the state of project execution across the country, which we also in last year when a report was given by the then Minister of Economy, Economy. Yes, at the time, before he was now replaced with Taiwo Oyedele, Mr. Wale Edu. At the time, he was Minister of Economy. And right at that particular point in time, we also knew that during the audit session of most of this ministry's departments and agencies, a lot of them confirmed that they had proposals, all right? And despite approval of those proposals, they were barely giving up to 2% of the fund needed to execute projects. So this lawmaker who was shouting today said that they did not get their projects concluded and some of the contractors left the project site, which will obviously halt or discourage anyone from having to campaign or support the APC in the next electoral cycle. And in that regard, the Senate President and the Senate Leader, that is Godswill Akpabio and Okpeyemi Bamidele, said he was a betrayer of the APC as a political party. He said he knows that the contractors have been given their monies. In fact, for Kawu Sumaila, money had been designated to him, about 90 billion naira ecological contract in Kano for Sumaila. And they stated that following the death of former Senator Ifeanyi Ubah, the presidency explicitly directed the Senate leadership to hand the chairmanship of the lucrative Senate Committee on Petroleum Downstream over to him. But Senator Kawu refused to back down and said he would not be silenced. Now there are talks that some of these APC senators and lawmakers who did not win their primaries are now speaking up because they felt supporting or defecting to the APC would enable them. But now that they did not win their primaries, they decide to supposedly embarrass the APC. Do you think that's what it is?
Well, thank you very much. I think Nigerians will continue to pray for all these 70 legislators who did not get their ticket in the APC, because they will actually come and tell us the truth now. Because there are a lot of criminality, a lot of stealing, broad daylight robbery has been happening under this Bola Tinubu regime in the name of governance. It's a shame that the Senate leader and Akpabio were busy trying to blackmail Senator Sumaila, because it was pure blackmail, and they were using public funds as a tool for blackmail. So that you made him chairman of a lucrative Senate Committee on Downstream. You gave him 90 billion naira for ecological funds. This is Nigerian public funds. That is what the Senate President and the Senate Leader had the temerity to try to blackmail a senator who is now spewing the beans. Gosh, I will keep on praying for more of this to happen. As I tell people, look, no matter what Mr. Tinubu is doing, no matter what he thinks he will do, hopefully Mr. Tinubu will not be on the ballot for next elections. By 2027, he will not be on the ballot. Things will happen that will keep these characters away from the ballot. Because if they are there, Nigeria will continue to go down the drain. And if you are praying for Nigeria, that Nigeria should rise, that means we are indirectly or directly praying also for these criminal elements who are willing to go to blazes. They will be wiped out. So we thank God for people like Senator Sumaila, and we pray that more of them will come. I'm still looking forward to what Senator Ned Omoko will say. I'm still looking forward to what several of those who were thrown out, who were thrown under the bus, will say. And by the time they really speak the truth, we will now see how this government has robbed Nigeria. How this thieving government that has borrowed billions, that is mortgaging Nigerians' future for self-aggrandizement, to put into their pocket, how they have misruled this country. So yes, let more of this will happen. And I pray that, I hope they don't descend to start eliminating these senators, because they will talk. Because once you jilted, once you cheated on somebody, he has nothing else than to talk. Because Senator Sumaila would have realized that if he goes back to Kano, he's not safe. So he's better off telling the truth of what happened to the billion that should have developed Kano. I think people will not be able to forgive him if he's actually been truthful. But for people like Akpabio and Bamidele, they can keep on defending him until the day comes when Nigerians will say enough is enough. Thank you very much.
Barrister Osborne Ubong Okod, a political aide to Prince Godwin Ntuk-Ude, the political advisor to Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Umo Eno, has been relieved of his duties for criticizing President Bola Tinubu on social media. This development comes amid rising national concerns about the security situation in the country, further highlighted by the recent abduction of the pupils and teachers in Oyo State, not just in Oyo State, even in the the southeast too. Despite military presence, we're hearing of kidnapping and attacks by these terrorists, not just in the southeast as well. In the north, Kwara State right now seems to be the haven. Also Kebbi in Ingoshe as well. They have 416 of abducted victims with them. And in one of the communities very recently, I think Kwara as well, they still have about 176 of them who were kidnapped. About 100 of them are being converted to Islam. A graduation ceremony is being planned for them. And pockets of kidnapping, across the state. In some instances, some have not gotten to the media to be reported or amplified. So far, Governor Eno decided to sack him for criticizing the government. Some of the celebrities who have been calling the government of the day to please do their job are saying that the reason they cannot talk is because they will be silenced or they'll be criticized by the government of the day. The government of the day's defense is that insecurity did not start now. It started way before now, and that it's not magic for Bola Ahmed Tinubu to completely eliminate these guys in 3 years. Now, Barrister, in regards to that, talks about the political candidates and some of them being part of this, or some of them who may not be able to do more on this. I need you to respond to this before I give this information about 90 million naira, being, disbursed in the ADC by Atiku and Peter Obi before leaving, paying almost 1 billion naira before he left the ADC to the NDC, paying his own quota financial responsibility in the ADC before he left. Very quickly, please respond to this.
Yeah, thank you very much. I see with regards to what the governor did in Cross River State, is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
In Akwa Ibom, sorry. In Akwa Ibom.
In Akwa Ibom, sorry, yes. I really pity Mr. Tinubu, because the reality is this. He says about 31 or 32 governors have defected. The fact is more than 28 of those governors are not even with him. It is the share of either EFCC or DSS. So when you have so many people around you and you are not even sure of your shadow, how will you sleep at night? So they can keep on penalizing those who speak out, but it will only make sure that the other ones go underground. So even his cook, his driver, his maid, the people that prepare his bed, he cannot be sure of them. That's why even when you have a poll, when you have an election whether it's Bodyland or in Aso Rock, the man will still lose. So all these gimmicks of sacking people for saying the truth or expressing their mind will only push people's opinion further deeper underground, and it will only create fear for those who want to bury the truth. The fact is that no Nigerian is happy with what is going on. No Nigerian is happy with this Bola Tinubu regime. No Nigerian is happy with what this government is doing. So if you know you're not doing well, why don't you, for goodness sake, go and sleep, go and rest with your grandchildren? That is where old men belong. I'm not coming to continue to pollute the public space with your misgovernance, with your illegality. So it's so sad. But I think what happened in Cross River State is just a tip of the iceberg. Many commissioners who follow their governors to join the APC, or even the ministers, or even, are they really there? Or they are there to avoid the consequences of not being with the APC? So if they are just there to avoid consequences, then only God knows what they'll be doing at night. So I keep on saying, Mr. Tinubu, I hope and I believe, truly believe, that at the right time, he will not be on the ballot for the elections come 2027. Thank you very much.
I don't know how true that will be, or how realistic that will be.
That's my opinion. But what I can assure you is this: the procedures to keep him away from being on the ballot is already in process. It is already in process and will be manifesting in due course. Some of them are local, some are international, but the procedures are already in process. Thank you.
After the about how many $1 million that was paid to the American government, do you think that would work?
Oh, the U.S. government is transactional. If you like, let him pay $20 million. Let him make it $1 billion. There will be the push factor. The evangelical, the rational people in America will say, look, enough is enough. And it's already beginning, because there is public discourse for the need to arrest key officials of this government and charge them for international crimes. So, and then just yesterday, the FBI and the Drug Enforcement Agency were supposed to release the files on Mr. Bola Tinubu. Yes. So those ones, the process is to ensure that Bola Tinubu is not on the ballot for 2027 is already in process. So he can be deceiving himself with his INEC chairman, with his police chiefs, and all the DSS and whatever he has. At the nick of time, truth will manifest. Thank you very much.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been collaborating with the US ever since this whole situation. In fact, there are talks by some persons in the north that he was the one who invited the US to supposedly help in seeing how they could eliminate these guys terrorizing the country. There are also talks that he's an asset, of the US or the FBI. So if someone is an asset, if someone is working and collaborating with the US, how do you think that any form of machination would work to ensure that he doesn't return from these international communities?
No, the US knows. I mean, they're not that. They know they use you when you're an asset. They use you, and when you become enough worry, they dump you. I mean, it's the normal American process, and so that is not an issue.
What if Bola Ahmed Tinubu acquiesces to any condition? For example, all wells, a military base established, collaborates and cooperates with them, or for them to support his presidency in 2027. And like you said, the US is a transactional kind of government. Don't you think that none of whatever is going on is going to affect anything here?
No, the fact is, it's not in a position to say no to anything America wants. So they are, when they say they have asked him, it's not true. At times the attacks are made, the bombs are already on the head before they notify him. Because if you notify Nigerian government in advance, they may likely even despise the terrorists before the bomb get there. In the last attack that happened, the person that was killed by the US was a terrorist that this same Nigerian government claimed to have killed
in 2024.
Good. So the whole idea of the government claiming to have killed him was to remove him from the prying eyes of foreign authorities. But the US still saw through the crap and killed the man. So, I mean, when they say they're collaborating with this regime, they are very diplomatic people. They know it is their language. They know how to use it well. Similar to the visit by Mr. Nuhu Ribadu to the White House. I mean, there's no big deal in it because he is a man who, if you go through the WikiLeaks report, I mean, Nuhu Ribadu was going to the US Embassy to report himself.
Yes. So,
I mean, they know these characters. That you come into the White House or they are someone does not mean that they have forgotten who you are. They also know that Mr. Bola Tinubu forfeited $460,000 for drug trafficking and money laundering related offenses in 1993. So they know these people they are dealing with very well, and at the proper time, America will tell you who they are. I mean, they also dealt with Maduro for quite a while, Nicolas Maduro for quite a while, but when they felt it was enough, it's enough, and they went in and picked him up. So the reality is the reality. Let us not deceive ourselves.
Okay. Well, Barrister, I don't trust the US. I don't trust they can do anything, actually. But let's see how it goes.
Okay, no problem.
Yes.
Let us watch and see how it goes.
All right, Barrister, very quickly. As it stands at this moment, remember I said something. In the ADC, for example, there's an issue. One of the members there, Wakili, has said that Atiku is the one destabilizing the party because of his greed and his inability to concede, for the reason for the party to have some form of national relevance, and the key members who could have driven the party at the forefront have left. Atiku is looking for a deputy, ever since he became the presidential candidate of the ADC after the primary that was recently conducted. And there are talks that Atiku could divide the votes or supposedly betray the votes of peterobi and Kwankwaso in the north, being the fact that he's a Fulani and obviously the north may want to recognize or stand with him. But in that regard, however, before peterobi left the ADC, he never said anything negative about the principles of the party. He said they had done nothing wrong to him. However, he believed that due to some internal issues within the party, he felt it credible to leave. The ADC has 3 different presidential candidates. There is a Nafiu Bala presidential candidate, there's Dumebi Kachuku, and then there is Atiku Abubakar. And right now, the Federal High Court had postponed their decision indefinitely as to, the 32 state chairman of the party in the ADC. Barrister, normally political party elders and leaders contribute money in these political parties. Atiku did. And Peter Obi also did. We heard he almost, he completed his own payment in the ADC before he left to the NDC. almost 1 billion naira, just like every one of them. And no one has come out to make a statement from the ADC that Peter Obi did indeed contribute his quota financially to enable the party. But there have been serious backlashes, insult, clamor, and saying that Peter Obi is working for Bola Ahmed Tinubu because he left the coalition. What's your take on this? Because Babachir Lawal said a lot as he was leaving. He insulted Atiku. He called him names and made allegations that Atiku may be a warlord. So, do you think Peter was being too nice? And why was the attack so harsh on Peter and not on Babachir Lawal with the kind of condescending statements he made when he left?
Thank you very much. I think the reality is that Peter B stands alone. It's a class of his own. He's in a politics. This kind of politics on his own. And so you can only expect the system to be against him. So the target of most of these politicians, both in the opposition and in the ruling APC, is the person of Peter B. For nothing more than the fact that Nigerians see him as a change agent. They have gone through his pedigree and see somebody who is worthy of effecting change. But with regards to Atiku Abubakar began to contest for presidency since 1993. That is 33 years ago. For those who many Nigerians have been born today, he contested for presidency with MKO Abiola for the LDP primary. So the reality is, after over 3 years of contesting for presidency, one would have thought that by now, Mr. Atiku would have seen somebody who he can support and be a godfather. But sadly enough, he has continued to play like a spoiler role in most of the opposition politics. He has continued to like almost be a spoiler, which is rather sad, because it's a man who some of us, even including myself, I respect very well, because my respect for him started actually when he fought efforts to destroy the office of the vice president. He strikingly fought and contested it by litigation, and he won all the processes when Obasanjo tried to rubbish the hands of the vice president. That's why we have respect for him as a Democrat. But the Democrats should listen to the time. A Democrat should listen to the voice of change. A Democrat should listen to the voice of the people. And at his age, the voice of the people has moved on. The voice of the people now wants a more drastic change, which he, unfortunately, does not represent. So the reality is that in ADC, there will be more and more people coming up and saying, no, what Atiku did was not good. I mean, Babachir Lawal is one, Amechi is another one, and more will come out and tell us the rot that has become of the ADC. And at this stage, one will now ask, why can't Mr. Atiku step aside and enjoy the privileges of an elder statesman? Because like it happened in past elections, after these elections, whether he does not win, if he does not win, Atiku will go back to Dubai. He leaves. He comes in for elections and he goes back. So he should allow Nigerians to decide by themselves and not to keep on dividing the votes of the opposition. This was exactly what happened in the last election, when he and Peter were on the ballot, and Tinubu, though he didn't even win the majority of the votes, still became president. So I want hope that even sanity will prevail, and Atiku will come out to prevail, and he will also decide at this stage, okay, let me throw in the towel and be an elder statesman and mention my support for the voice of the people, for the people who Nigerians seem to be clamoring for, as a man who represents change. And that's in the person of Mr. Peter B. Simple. Thank you very much.
Barrister Eze, thank you so much actually for extensively giving us your perspective on some of the issues that we're able to discuss here. Thank you for providing clarity and giving us your own opinion actually in response to all of this. I sincerely do appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I wish your listeners a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Barrister Eze Eluche. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I spoke earlier with Barrister Fred Nzako as well as Barrister Eze Eluche, and they all gave their perspective to issues that were discussed this evening. I thank you so much for having to stay with us. It's now time to hear your reaction and your addition to what has been said, or possibly your criticism to what each of these gentlemen said in response to the questions that I posed at them. If you agree with some, if there is anything to add, and what other data you intend intend to provide. Please, very short and simple, straight to the point. No making of any derogatory statement or insult on anyone or the presidency, but go straight to the point to logically give us your own input to what has been discussed. The number to call is 080-3692 9933 080-3692 That's the number to call. Now the WhatsApp number to send your messages to, and if you are watching us currently on YouTube in the diaspora, you can also call in to be part of the conversation. You call this WhatsApp number 0817 1756 338 0817 1756 338. That is the WhatsApp number. You can send your messages there. If you're in the diaspora, you also want to contribute on the topics we've discussed today, you can also call that WhatsApp number. All right. Hello. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. What's your name?
Yeah. My name is Mark. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Mark calling from where?
Yeah. Mark is calling from Yanupaja.
From Yanupaja?
Yeah.
All right, Mark. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So, from the indication of things, your two guests you have tonight, I think they are supporters of Mr. Peterobi, obviously. So I don't expect anything less from what they have said so far. But I cannot disagree. Okay. Yeah, I disagree. Because if they try to paint a picture of gloom and doom, or that the president have not been doing anything, I think it is wrong. The president, I don't even know where to start from. Maybe from the first guest or from the second guest.
Anyone. You can respond to any one of that. You have a very, few seconds to respond. So very quickly.
Yeah. Okay. So, they talk about restructuring. They talk about insecurity and all that. Okay. Let me start from.
Hello, Mark.
Insecurity.
Okay.
Let me start from insecurity, right?
Yeah.
Now, your guests compare Nigeria with, nations like Togo, Ghana, and all that, saying that they were able to protect themselves, and then Nigeria was not able to protect itself. I think that is wrong. It's very wrong information. Is your guest aware? Is your guest in the studio?
Please go ahead, Mark. Respond to you have a very few seconds to respond.
Is your guest aware that February 18 of 2026, U.S. issued a public notice to their citizens, a travel advisory, warning their citizens against terrorism in Ivory Coast. February 18, 2026, you can fact check it. A couple of times, terrorists have attacked the border across Ghana, and Togo have come under violent terrorist attacks. Is he aware that there is regional instability across the Sahel region, bordering Ghana, Togo, Burkina Faso, Niger, and then bordering Nigeria? So it was wrong to misinform Nigerians. Very wrong. Do you understand? And then the cooperation of the US and Nigeria is very significant. Very, very significant. And when they say the government or the president is not doing anything, it is very, very wrong. It's working with the US, it's working with the German, it's working with France, it's working with Israel to ensure border security and advanced technology. And I want to tell you something. Concerning the insecurity in your state specifically, it is wrong to say the government is not doing anything also. Under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, so far, and I want you to fact check me right there, there have been a couple of school kidnaps, and I'm specific. I'm talking about school kidnap right now. All school kidnaps that have happened under President Tinubu have all been released and reunited with their parents. The one that happened in Sokoto, school kidnap that happened in Kaduna, Katsina, Niger, Kebbi. All of them have been released and have been reunited with their parents, except for the one in Oyo State, which happened recently. And that is why I can trust the president when he says that the parents should be rest assured that their kids will return back home. Done it in other states. We have presidents in this country, from GJ to President Buhari, who's under administration. School children were kidnapped. Until now, they were still found missing. We don't even know their whereabouts. But every school kidnapped under Tinubu have all been released and returned back home. You can fact check me, Esther.
All right, Mark, thank you so much.
The insecurity in your state, it is the security report, the police report have said that it was a gang up between the terrorists and the local people. That is what the police report says.
All right, thank you, Mark. Thank you. We need to take other calls, okay? We need to take other calls, Mark. Thank you very much. All right, Mark. Anyway, does any one of you have anything to say to what Mark has said? Remember, no insults. Go straight to the point. Provide your own, logic and factor to that. Like Mark said, fact check. Okay, 08036929933. This is your time to respond to the issues discussed this evening, and the WhatsApp number is 0817175638. Hello, good evening.
Esther, good evening.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm good. Esther, my name is Akodiba. I'm calling from Papa.
Akodiba, good evening. How are you?
I'm good.
Please go ahead.
Thank you, Esther. And thank you to your two guests. Esther, are you aware that Larry or Lainka is an APC member? Are you aware that he's a personal assistant?
He is in PDP, supposedly. With the faction of PDP, because he's working for Nyesom Wike.
Nyesom Wike, and you know the role Nyesom Wike is playing.
Yes.
In this administration and in Nigeria in general. For him to have access to that server, it tells a lot. It tells a lot. I think I have been vindicated. I have been telling Nigerians, focus your energy on INEC. These are the determiner of the next year's election. Nigeria will going to give their verdict, but will the INEC give Nigerians what they negotiate for? I think I've been vindicated with this. Absolutely vindicated. For that man to have access to that, it tells a lot. Esther, we are right now talking about security, and somebody is juxtaposing the life of Nigerians with telling us that the school children have been returned home.
No, he says all the school children who were kidnapped.
Are you not seeing the people in Borno State? People in Borno State are still crying that the people who have been kidnapped is not yet back. Haven't you heard about that? Are they not? Is Borno State not Nigeria? When he is telling you about Côte d'Ivoire, that Côte d'Ivoire did whatever. Esther, as we speak right now, there is no country in Africa that is as peaceful as Abidjan and the rest of other places in Côte d'Ivoire. There is 24 hours power supply in Côte d'Ivoire. Esther, we are talking about infrastructure. Is called Petit Paris. That is what is called. Côte d'Ivoire is called Petit Paris because of the beauty and how organized that place is. And somebody is just opposing it with this kind of slump we are having here. Ghana just lifted their people from South Africa and lifted their country men and women from South Africa to Ghana. Our own, nobody is talking about it. It takes Peter Obi to go there. In Benin Republic, you see, you just check your Facebook, you see the kind of beauty of Cotonou and Porto Novo. Those people have never recorded any form of security breach anywhere. We are talking about Togo, the same thing. And we are the giant of Africa. Look at what is going on in our place. We do not have power supply. And we have a president. We cannot, the children, you see Nigerians crying that they cannot release their children to go to school. And we have a president, commander-in-chief.
All right, Akodiba, you're right in your submission. So what Mark was responding to, because I talked about the Minister of Defense in Mali being murdered by terrorists, and I made reference to what Minister of Defense had said when he was defense minister, that the volatility in the Sahel region has created a rapidly evolving two-front security crisis. The defense minister at the time said the violence is fueled by Al Qaeda and Islamic State affiliates, which which exacerbated existing domestic insurgencies, which is severely threatening Nigeria's northwestern and northeastern borders. So then the defense minister was asking the Nigerian government to please strengthen its borders. That is, they need to close their borders, that the borders are so porous and the volatility in the Sahel is spilling into Nigeria. And once that happens, they may not be able to contain it, which obviously led to the American government telling us we have about more than 30 terrorist cells and terrorist organizations in Nigeria. So what he was trying to defend was by saying that those countries have been trying to curtail it, and that it's been severe more on Nigeria. The government of the day has been working so hard to neutralize it. That was his defense.
Esther, if there is governance in place, you will be seeing it in every ramification. These people told you before now, that is the people from this Gaddafi country. Is it not what they told you, that they are from Libya?
Yes, Libya.
Is it not what they told you before now? These people are just looking for a place to put their incompetency. That is just what they are trying to do. Trying to change the goalposts, look for who to blame. Esther, these are the same people who are telling you that the reason why fuel is high in Nigeria is because of what is happening in the Strait of Hormuz. What is our business with what is going on there?
That is very true. What's our business?
Wait, I'm coming, Esther. These are the same people who are telling you right now that the gas, that is what is happening in the Strait of Hormuz. But your second guest cleared it. Okay? We are not only people who are bordering this state of Sahel you are talking about. He talks about Côte d'Ivoire.
Yeah.
Okay? He talks about Togo. We talked about Ghana. We talked about Benin Republic.
Even Cameroon.
Okay? Even Cameroon, even Central African Republic. Are we the only one? What are we talking about here? This is failure of governance. That governance ended in Nigeria in 2015. Get this thing. Get it right. Ever since Jonathan left office, the only thing that occupies Nigeria is politics upon politics. Nothing else. Absolute nothing else. Esther, look at all the indices. What can you pinpoint that is working there right now in Nigeria? Esther, just mention one institution that is working. Just mention one.
Oh, the Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway.
Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway is working.
Is it not working?
Can you drive from here now to Calabar? No. Can you drive from here now to Calabar?
I'm just asking.
Where did it start and where did it end?
All right, Akudigba, thank you so much for calling. All right,
Esther, get it right.
I'm
get it right. There's no governance going on. These people have nothing. They shouldn't be there.
I'm getting it right, Mr. Akudigba. Thank you for calling. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, Esther.
How are you? You see, you see. Good evening.
Esther.
Yes.
Good evening. Giant of Africa, my feet.
Your pie.
Africa in nonsenseness. Giant of Africa in no development. Giant of Africa in no quality. Giant of Africa in no quantum of the future. No present, no past, and no beginning. Esther, I have told you last time I called that this issue of insurgency that is hidden under the opium of religion, don't forget I told you that the Gulf, the Middle East, and the whole of Western Asia is the capital of religion and culture. But as I speak to you right now, in the developed line, there, enclave there, no insurgents happening there, no insecurity around Saudi Arabia. Esther, anywhere insurgency thrive is because the mind of the people there are not illuminated by light. When the mind is not developed, the mind is not busy. Evil will creep into the mind and start to exhibit evil and wickedness. That is what we are saying here. Take this for account. Syria fell into insurgents when their government was collapsed.
Yeah.
Yemen the same thing.
And Libya too.
the same thing. Esther, Libya the same thing. So Nigeria is having regular governance but lack good governance. So automatically leadership has failed and collapsed. That is why Nigeria will never grow and thrive. Esther, this region in this country, this enclave, where these insurgents are thriving from, spreading from, flooding from. They have problem of illumination. Nigeria as a whole, collectively, comprehensively, is not developed. The mind is not busy. The mind is not researching anything. The mind is not processed and processed. So what do you expect from a country like Nigeria? Esther, it baffles my concern that Barrister Zakot believed that Atiku will restructure Nigeria. Esther, let me tell you the truth.
But why is it baffling your mind? He was in a political party, had a one-on-one conversation with Atiku, and believed in the principle of restructuring. So, as of 2023, that was his mindset. I'm chilling.
See, the North constructed Nigeria in this form during the military regimes. Now, the way it is positioned, it favors them politically, economically, in every ramification. Esther, Kanu, Katsina have more local government than Lagos State.
Yes.
Allocation is shared according to the capacity and size of a local government, Esther. Now, the advantage in every ramification is as if they are too popular, they are too populated, they are too everything. They contribute nothing to the center, yet they get the highest allocation. So why do you think any person from that region will want to restructure Nigeria? Talk less about Atiku. Everything that Pachi said about Atiku, I agree with him. I will not agree less. I'm not indifferent to those things he said. Atiku, remember, I've been saying this often time, that Atiku has never condemned the insurgent attitude, exhibition everywhere in the federation. He's just calm for political calculation. Remember, he has never been voted in the southwest. So he was always voted in the southeast and south-south. So he believes his position himself well in the north, he could get votes from that region. That is the fact. So how would he want to reposition what is people position to favor them? Esther. Nigerian does not go anywhere. It's not going anywhere. If our mind does not thrive towards development, illumination, let us go to school. We are not schooling well. We are not going to school. We are going to school to learn theories, not practicals. So when the mind is not involved in creativity, Esther, insurgents will try. Go to that place. They don't have good schools. Schools are there. But nobody's educating the proper. If you go to do otherwise, they will let you. Akuruba just told you, are we the only country in the Sahel bothering these people? No. Why other countries are not thriving there? After we saw the insurgents of ISIS in not this region there, in the Middle East, even in North Africa, after then, is it still happening there in Libya? No, they are only having civil conflicts. What about Syria? What about other Egypt? What is wrong with us here? Leadership has failed. Everything rises and falls on leadership. I told you yesterday, a Jewish rabbi, Jonathan Ross, has said, whatever happens in the community, whatever happens in the society, it is only what the leaders upon want. So whatever leadership does not want, leadership stops it. I appreciate it.
You see, I'm going to use a straw to suck your brain. I've told you to come to this radio station to come and talk. You refuse, Abby? No wahala. Good night. All right. Hello. Good evening. How are you?
Yeah, good evening, Mazi from Germany.
Mazi from Germany, thank you for waiting. Welcome.
Yes, thank you, Esther Machugo. Yeah, I listened to your guests, two of them, and they spoke very eloquently. And what they dished out today, there was nothing wrong about it. For example, the first caller was talking about all school children adopted under Tinubu have been released.
He was not the first caller, he was the second caller.
Okay, second caller. Blatant lie. Look at here. Since January 2023, at least 816 students have been kidnapped.
Yeah.
In 22 attacks on schools. And only about 100 of them have been released. This is because I just called because of that guy who is trying to defend, this Bola Tinubu administration. We have to be honest with ourselves. Nobody is happy, over what is happening in Nigeria. Nobody, even we are in diaspora, we are not happy because it's telling on us every day. You wake up in the morning, you turn off your radio or your television, Nigeria, you hear kidnapping here, killings here and there. It doesn't make us, it makes us, our heart bleeds. And when people come here to defend these things because of maybe ethnicity or religious, line, it hurts. There are still at least 600 students or school children under captivity in Nigeria since 2023. and somebody is coming here to tell that all of them have been released. Where? As we speak, almost 4 and something in Niger State, even in Kwara State, some are
even in 476. They are still within the custody of the terrorists. In Ngoshe, 416 mothers and children, including some men, are still within the custody. But I think he's speaking on the popular school children abduction. Like in Niger State of 2025, approximately 130 school children were abducted in November from a Catholic boarding school in Papuri village. They were able to negotiate and they secured the release of those students. In 2025, Kebbi State, all 24 school children abducted from the Government Girls Comprehensive Secondary School were released. They did some financial negotiation with them. In Kaduna State 2024, 137 school students were abducted from a school in Kuriga. They did some negotiation and they were released. So that is his indices for reporting successful rescue of some of these children. However, there are underreported cases of unsuccessful attempts of these school children. In some instances, it doesn't get to the media, so they remain within the custody. The families of these children are the ones who come together to contribute money for their release. However, it is not all cases of these abducted children that has been successful. So Mark was referring to those that have been successful. However, he was trying to say the case in Oyo State is political between Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the Oyo State government.
That's the absurd of it, of the whole thing. Because I listen to Fayoshe and then I'm hearing this thing from Tinubu's quarter. How dare you? How dare they say this kind of thing that is political? It's ridiculous. In fact, they are adding salt into wounds of that man who was, beheaded. That teacher who was murdered.
Yes.
They are making the family, feel more terrible than what they're feeling today. And look, for example, because I listened to him, he said that all on Tinubu regime, regime power or
it's not all of them.
Yes, he said all. That's what he said. That under Tinubu, all of the adopted children, school children have been released. That's why I researched now and I saw it is lie. It is false.
Thank you so much.
Stop giving all this false information. We are not happy. Finally, and he's talking about Ghana. That is my cousin lives in Ghana. And there's nothing you can make him to come back to Nigeria. In Ghana.
All right.
Because there at least
there's a modicum of sanity there when it comes to security.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Mazi. Thank you so much. I appreciate you calling. Yes. Good night. Hello. Good evening. How are you?
Yeah. Good evening. Chooks calling from Aja.
All right, Chooks. Please go ahead. Welcome.
Yeah. Thank you very much. The barrister has said all. I won't lie you. How do we say it? When they say it's not only the Easterner Southeast that will vote for Asiwaju. Even the Southwest as it is standing now, because even all the political regions, where are they not buying fuel over 1,300 naira? Where are they not buying gas over 1,700 naira? Where can you move? Children will be moving for youth service. Look at the whole university in many of these our states are closed down. Schools. So where is the vote coming from? If there is not any other way around that they are thinking. But having said that, I want to thank you, Esther. Really, you have made my day today, because of the eminent barrister, which I respect so much. That is the first barrister that you called.
Barrister Fred Nzako.
Yes, you really pull out, because initially I had another mind, really, which you two had some reservation.
Yeah, Barrister Ezeche.
No. Nzako.
Okay.
Nzako.
Okay.
Yes, Nzako. That the way he's not conversing for NDC.
Yeah.
Is just a pointer, and pointer to a lot of analysts on VOP. But the only thing is that it's their right, really, to defect to any place. But my issue is when you bring them up to analyze, I don't know how they can now demarcate that boundary, because it's like majority of the analysts from VOP are now on NDC and promoting Peter Obi.
Were you with us on the New Nigeria debate this afternoon, Mr. Chooks? If you had joined us, you would have realized that we had the spokesperson to the Edo State Governor here with us, who is an APC supporter on several occasions, ADC as well, PRP. We bring all of them.
Wait, let me tell you something. I was there. The particular man that they brought from Edo State.
Yeah.
In fact, it's a shame. It's a sham. When in fact, he made one statement. He said his child is schooling in outside the country.
I know, but Mr. Chooks, you were aligning towards the fact that most of the analysts we're bringing here are NDC supporters, and I was like, that's not true. Because
no. I'm not saying. I'm not. No. It's everybody's right. But what I'm saying is that the perception is what really matters. You know, and how you will be able to let them understand that they must analyze strictly on both sides. I don't have any issue.
Okay.
I don't have any issue.
All right. Thank you so much, Chooks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's just my point.
Thank you so much for calling in. Good night. Hello. Good evening. How are you?
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Welcome. What's your name?
Yeah. Always information.
All right, sir. Please go ahead.
First of all, let me congratulate the two analysts you had this evening.
All right.
Their brain was at top notch. When we talk about information, we talk about analysis that has facts and figures. It's not only about talking. That is one. And those who are calling your station NDC station and things like that. That's why I'm privileged to understand you about a very large extent. I listen to the program in your POP from 5:30 almost every morning till 7 o'clock. And I can tell you authoritatively that 98% of callers condemns what is going on in the country. I don't know why sometimes when it comes to the English version or the other language, they are accusing them of trying to malign the head of the president. No, it's about what is happening in the country. He has taken the responsibility to protect us, security-wise, property-wise, life-wise. Then when those things are not coming, you have every right to contest it. I love my people for one thing. If Obi should be there tomorrow, if he mess up, our people will be the first to attack him. We'll bring him to his knees. We want progress in this country. Let us leave sentiments aside. Let's leave tolerance. It's not helping our cause at all. All these things, many other people have been talking here. They're fast. I don't need to be repeating them again. But what matters is what I want to talk about concerning that Emeka case data with INEC.
Yes, yeah.
That's a very, very, very serious contravention of his rights. And the danger signal to the election process that is coming up in 2027.
Yeah.
The opposition parties must take it seriously.
That's my fear. The opposition parties are not utilizing that, like seriously hounding that.
That particular incident is just a peep into the well of what has been prepared for us against this
that was scary. And Larry never apologized. That was scary.
We can't take apologies. El-Rufai is in detention today. One of the charges was that he tapped on, and look, this is more critical.
It's almost like if you're supporting the government, you can do nonsense and get away with it.
For him to be being a special advisor,
he ought to be sacked.
Not only sacked, he has to be picked up. And the opposition should raise their voice because the world is listening. So they should raise their voice. Let them not sleep. Leave only one person to talk about it, and before you know it, another incident.
What kind of thuggery is that? To prove a point, you release his personal details. You were boasting, trying to malign the man. What is even your business with the NDC? Are you supporting them? Is that your job? Are you not the spokesperson to the FCT minister? At what point did you become a critical internal meanderer into another political party, disgracing your principal and disgracing the supposed government that you serve? And yet, the supporters of the government allow that, and no one criticizes criticize that, and he's still serving as a spokesperson of Nyesom Wike without being sacked. That's the kind of brigandage that occurs in this government that nobody's questioning. Broad daylight thuggery is what is being condoned. That one, I'm just looking at them.
Yeah, I can understand you, my sister. Your emotion is as high as mine.
No, it doesn't make sense.
Matured men, matured citizens who are calling this program, sometimes they will the ones to be drawing the hand of the clock backwards.
It's just like an opposition person releasing the personal details of the president's son or his grandchildren, their picture, where they school, where they live, exactly everything on social media. And you want to tell me that the DSS wouldn't have picked such a person? We're playing in this country.
To take it up,
that is absolute nonsense.
That's a signal that we're not going to have a free and fair election coming 2027. And they have already done the technical aspect of the rigging, and which we have to start challenging immediately. It's even God that made that thing to come out openly. That is
it's because anything goes with these guys. That's why he did what he did.
What they have in stock, they have a lot, and that's what gives me a confidence. Instead of governing well, people are giving the democracy, so that people will look back and say this is why we're voting for them. They divert all our resources, all our energies into politicking, into rigging arrangements and things of that stuff. But it can't work. Let us unite. Forget about where you are coming from. It's about Nigeria.
All right, thank you so much, sir.
Across board.
Thank you. All right, good night. Hello, good evening. How are you?
Good evening.
Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, good evening. What is your name?
I'm Emma from Oshodi.
All right, Emma from Oshodi, please go ahead.
Yes, what I'm to say about this issue. It's generally Nigerian issue, not the Mexican issue. All these political leaders, they're supposed to come out now and let us all Nigeria work on it. And he will die as other matters are dying in this Nigeria. That is the first issue. Second issue is that, as I'm telling you now, I'm not a kid. I'm almost 67 now. Nigeria issue, that is how it used to be. And one problem which I want to drop for you is that a good Japanese man doesn't need a soundboard. It's his handwork that we tell people who he is. And Tinubu is promoting himself with his people. They are not the people that will promote themselves. It's people that we know that we say that they are good or they are not good.
Are you saying it's wrong for him to promote himself and his people? I don't understand where that analysis is
I'm
headed.
talking that they are doing good. They are doing work which Nigeria send them to do. It's Nigeria that send them to do it. The work they are doing is Nigeria that will see it and confirm. Okay. And it's Nigeria that will give them pass mark, if at all they pass. And there's many pass marks that they worth of. This ANEC, if Nigeria keep quiet where ANEC is, the then is there is no election. There is no need for them to move on election issue. If the ANEC will be there till the end of the election, other people are doing nothing. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for calling, sir. Hello, good evening. How are you?
Esther, good evening.
Hi, good evening. Welcome.
Good evening. How's everything?
Fine. Your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah, this is Ola calling from Berlin.
From Berlin?
Yeah, Ola.
Ola, how are you?
I'm fine.
It's been a while you called on the program.
I tried call. Your number is not connecting.
Sorry.
I tried call.
Sorry.
Not connecting.
Welcome. Please go ahead.
Esther, your two analysts today, they were really superlative. Let me use that language.
Thank you.
You see, I don't know, Fela did a song. He said, zombie oh zombie. I don't know if you know that song.
Zombie oh zombie.
Yeah, zombie. I thought the military, it is only the military we found zombie. But now in Nigeria, we have political zombies. To be sincere, sorry for my word, we have political zombies. Because I can't see you pee on my back and you are telling me it's rain that is falling. You see, I don't know if you watch Ayo Fayose interview yesterday.
Yeah.
I was so disturbed. I almost threw up. Because when I watched that video of those children and that mother was that was eliminated. Esther, almost in fact they were slaughtering as I could not even watch it. Then immediately I watched that video. When last time I called, I said Tinubu, they are saying what was it called? This guy is going to split Obi's vote, Jonathan's vote.
Yeah.
I said, nah, Makinde have declared, nobody's talking about it. So you see, this APC party, it's really shown by stability. Is always saying that they brought terrorists. Now I really believe. Because they didn't want people to use that rhetoric of like Makinde will divide Tinubu's vote. They struck.
But Ola, why are you saying now you believe? Buhari himself said it at the time that blood would be spilled. What's his name? This guy now, Nasir El-Rufai, within the custody of the DSS, also made such a statement, and they imported some foreigners into Nigeria, where they kept them in the hotel. If Jonathan had not conceded, you don't even know what would have happened. So when obviously Jonathan conceded, they didn't know what to do with these guys. They needed to hibernate here in Nigeria, and then they became terrors.
But if we call and tell you that these people you people say no, don't use.
Who are the you people? We're not the you people. It was there. It was obvious.
I know, but if we with the callers we call to say such things, because these people, they have so much bastardized the system. Even the media, you don't have free speech anymore. There are things you want to say, they will say, please, because I won't blame the media houses because of the tension they are receiving from the corporate bodies, from the government. I won't blame them because everybody is doing business. But sometimes we want to say things like sometimes the way you people like please
well, I always tell you, don't insult the president because he's the president of the Republic of Nigeria. Don't insult the president. Does not mean you cannot call out the political party and what they did. They did all of that.
Okay, so let me just quickly. Okay, like immediately they attack Oyo State.
Yeah.
Now you see what happened? I know this thing is coming up. You know why? Few days ago, I watched one APC shifting. It was saying Sheyi Makinde should resign. That is getting security vote and no, it cannot secure. But terrorist attack have been taking place in APC states since then. None of them have been asked to resign.
It's because those ones are APC members. Sheyi Makinde just called out the president.
I don't know if you understand that. You're not saying he should resign because he could not. Then yesterday again, Ayo Fayose came up. So it shows that there's a bargain they are asking Sheyi Makinde to do. But I think the man is not playing to the gallery. That's why those children are still held off stage. I think the man is not playing to the gallery. Today I watched your VOP station when Mr. Okoro was doing his show in the afternoon.
Yeah,
you know that
some
protesters, they were not alleging that Sheyi Makinde people were attacking them. Meanwhile, I believe this was sponsored by APC to show that Makinde is irritated. He don't want to find solution. He's trying to stifle the people. He don't want them to do so. So I saw so many games that has been played. Esther, Nigeria, God really help that country.
Amen.
People should please, they should stand. You know, when we go from diaspora, like people think you ran away, you cannot stand, now you are not. It's not our fault. It's unfortunately we find ourselves here. If I was still in Nigeria, I know the role I will be playing. But that's why I'm not there. I know the role I'm still playing. Even me calling out to encourage people, it's still a role. People should try and stand up. This 2027, they should match the full unit. But bomber to bomber. Because if these people come back, Esther, no problem. Good night. When are you going for your holiday?
Very soon.
No, tell me the motto so that I will package something because you are really trying. We need to really that your holiday. We need to move from the thing to buy. Thank you.
Thank you, Ola. I'll let you know.
Let me know.
I'll let you know.
Let me know.
All right, Ola. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Bye. All right, let me take some messages. Good evening, Esther. Over 80 pupils are still in captivity following 2 school attacks that occurred on May 15, 2026. Both attacks happened on the same day. Yet some people keep talking about things they don't know. Even if we accept your claims, has Tinubu been able to bring back those who were killed during the attacks? The families of the victims are still grieving and many of their abducted children remain in captivity. Olaya Taufik from Ali Mosho. All right. Hello, Esther. It's unfortunate and disheartening that our politicians have continued to use the lives of innocent citizens to play dirty politics. The state and federal government should come together and expedite action on how these infants, children, and people will be rescued and reunite with their families. At this juncture, it seems like the government of Nigeria is not capable to single-handedly rescue these innocent children. I feel they should seek for foreign assistance. I don't know why the 200 U.S. military have been in Nigeria for a while now and cannot be involved in the rescue mission. Government should do everything possible to get these people released from the captivity of these terrorists. Olorun Agbawa, God bless Nigeria. Temitope Onatoye from Ijagemo community. Temitope, thank you very much. That was actually very precise. Good evening, beautiful Esther. Thank you very much. Nigerians should come out en masse to face this evil once and for all and take back this country. If we die, we die. Let's stop wailing and speaking too many English. Essien from Ajao. Essien, ha. We're speaking too many English. Okay. All right. Auntie Esther, good evening, ma. One thing I like that your first analyst is that his grammar. Is that his grammar? Because he speaks grammar like CP Chuksa usually speaks with Mr. Yamgo. I was listening to the SDP presidential candidate today, Mr. Adebayo, one of the radio station, and he said that if we are expecting that INEC will conduct a proper election, that means we are looking on a long road. So I don't know what we'll be looking up to this coming election. My name is Uchenna from Shomolu. Well done, Uchenna. Greetings to Esther Mwachiko and your two humble analysts. You are really doing your best to educate the masses. I want to let Nigerians know that God has shown interest in this present situation, and in his power he will satisfy his obedient children and bring the peace that eluded this nation for a very long time. Elder Moses Uche Okafor, Ojo, Lagos. All right, Elder Moses, thank you very much. Good evening, Esther. Good evening to you. Please ask Barrister Nzako what's changed since he believed and supported Atiku from days of PDP to ADC. Is Atiku, who Barrister Nzako once served as his campaign DG, no more preaching restructuring? Esther, this is the character of our politicians. They move to where their bread is buttered. No sympathy for Nigerians. So when did Mr. Peterobi's restructuring become better than that of Atiku's? Nigerians, please don't be fooled. An insurgency. Babacho Lawal called Atiku bandit leaders. Maybe he knows much more than we know. The DSS should swing to action to interrogate him. Let all hands be on deck to fish out these ragtags who will not let us sleep soundly. This is beyond ethnicity. It's the life of our children and their future. All right, the captives should be released unconditionally. It shouldn't be left to the government alone. Thanks, Yemi from Songwater. All right, INEC and APC and Wiki Group, they know themselves. That is how they will come and be bragging as if they will be able to defend what they are saying concerning election. You will see nothing will happen to the Wiki man that breached INEC website. It will be swept under the carpet. Watch out. APC, don't finish Nigeria. Okay. This person says, good evening. My name is... Okay, no, this was earlier in the day. All right, not this program. Okay. Chibuza from Satellite says, good evening, Esther. This government of APC has failed woefully. In fact, sometimes I wonder how the APC government generates the courage to come and campaign. This is the first time in the history of this country where almost everyone, including the elite, are afraid to travel because of insecurity. This type of election, Nigerians should understand that APC is not the only opposition. We have three oppositions: APC, INEC, the judiciary. Nigerians should have this understanding, work with it, or else the same ancestors will rig themselves again. All right, Chibuzo from Satellite Town. There is an ex-army general, or yes, Abi, former chief of army staff, that was kidnapped along with his wife. He hasn't regained his freedom. Good evening, Esther. God Almighty has turned his back on Nigeria's leadership. No matter what government does to turn economy around, would never yield any fruits. Patrick from Ije Ododo. All right, Patrick, good evening. Esther, good evening. I greet your guests, Mr. Barrister Eze Eluche and Barrister Fred. It's Eluche. Barrister Eze Eluche, not Eruche. My name is Gabriel from Ikorodu. Your first guest made me feel very proud of him. That is the point I kept making. Whenever you see politicians attacking Obi, they are a conglomeration of people who are benefiting from this bad and corrupt system, who never wanted this country to work, because the country working would mean bad day for their pockets. I don't care how politically sagacious some presidential aspirants are. I only care about a man who has the political will, who is capable, who understands the problem we're going through in this country and knows what to do to solve it. All right, Gabriel, thank you very much for your message. Hello, good evening, ST. It's not clear to everyone that everything is politicized in this country. If INEC cannot secure and protect the data that they have, just an ordinary spokesperson of one minister can have access to it, then what then are we clamoring for in 2027? Is it not daylight robbery? Are we going to get in 2027 elections? Thanks, Ernest from Ojo. Esther, good evening. Are you seeing the hands of God working to favor the Hausas and the Igbos for so long? The Fulani collided with the Yorubas to suppress. Don't Jerry from Ejesha. Don't Jerry, you don't start though, because don't Jerry. Good evening, Esther, my dearest sister, and to all VOP family members. Please, Esther, send me the INEC link. Thanks, from Vivian Love. Vivian Love, what INEC link do you want to register? I would call out the link for you. Good evening, Esther, my baby. Also, my baby. I from Canal Estate, Okota. All right. I foresee to. I know they make projections. The US is coming. Iran war is done with. I don't, like I said. No, they believe this US thing. I don't know. I don't know why. I'm completely indifferent. Good evening, Esther. Nerolinka should be interrogated by the DSS. The issue should be investigated holistically. The axiom that the president will not be in the ballot box next seems weak. However, insecurity and killings are our main problems at the moment. Noah from Igondo. Good evening, Esther. My name is Joseph from Apapa. Nigeria is gone, except Nigerians' rights to take their nation by force. Hi, Esther. What correlation exists between winning an election and fighting insecurity in the country? Ola from Egbeda. All right, Esther. Good evening, Esther. I will advise the opposition parties to take their petition to the US, EU, and UK missions regarding the publication of Emeka Ike's personal data on social media. This is a serious breach of privacy and raises concerns about the integrity of the democratic process ahead of the 2027 elections. Emmanuel in Lagos. All right, Emmanuel in Lagos. Hi, VOP. Hello to you. You did not tell me your name. Esther. Okay. This is this Mark that called you is acting as Tinubu's spokesman because his child is not among those in Oyo Forest. Chiedu from Ogun State. Good evening, Esther. Your caller Mark was saying terrorism also exists in Togo and Ghana. Is that a justification for us to be experiencing same? He also said all students kidnapped in other states had been released under Tinubu's government. I reserve my comment and response to him, Larry. Good evening, Esther. Esther, Tinubu and APC is very hard. A bad market to bad on hard to market. A bad product is a bad product. The best marketer in the world cannot market APC and Tinubu. Please, Esther, in which area are we going to market Tinubu's government good? Esther, is it in the area of propaganda, deceit, extravagant spending? Please give it to Tinubu because that is why he is called master strategist, but in a negative way. Oh God, arise and trouble those that are troubling Nigerians. Mayor from Ikotu Egbe. This person says, I am a staunch member of APC. We campaigned for Buhari and Tinubu in ignorance. Our sense of reasoning was beclouded by some empty promises they made to us, but today we know better. Apologies to Nigerians for supporting this bad government. Good evening to you and the barristers in the house. Tunde, wow. Tunde, okay. This man should go back to School of Liars and learn more. And to talk okay Esther, this man named Mark has been going all over radio stations spilling what I don't know. In fact, he was talked down today by an anchor and their callers in one of the radio station. It's only VOP that is allowing him all this nonsense. Many thanks. Grandma Maggie from Oshodi. Okay, my name is Jesse Jiga from Ikotu. That caller supporting Tinubu says we should fact check him. Here is a fact check. According to BBC, it is partially true, as many victims abducted during this period have been safely rescued and reunited with their loved ones, but others remain in captivity. Significant progress has been made through coordinated military and security operations, but the crisis is still ongoing. Successful rescue, several high-profile operations led to the safe return of hundreds of victims. For instance, recent security efforts led to the rescue of 100 students from a Catholic school in Niger State, 38 worshippers in Eruku, Kwara State, and pupils and teachers in Ekiti State. Victims still missing. Despite these successes, hundreds of people, including students and teachers in states like Niger and Oyo, remain abducted. Security agencies are actively continuing operations to secure their release. The president has directed security forces to ramp up rescue efforts and maintain a strict policy of not paying any ransom. So your caller is wrong. He should talk what he knows. He said all have returned back to their family. That's a pure lie. Not all. Good evening from my end. My name is Prince from Checkpoint Agbara Badagry Way. I want to agree with your last speaker. Atiku just don't mean well for Nigeria, because 2027 election will be APC versus Nigerians. But with Atiku, Tinubu will win and rig it to his favor. Why can't Atiku endorse Obi? Because Obi is Tinubu's major threat. Okay. All right. Good evening. Insecurity. As long as Nigerians continue to pamper these criminal elements in the name of religious brotherhood and solidarity, ethnic affinity and sympathy, as long as the powers that be continue to play the ostrich with insecurity for political power and monetary purposes, Esther, believe you me, we're heading nowhere. Anyone telling you that this insecurity has a religious undertone is deliberately being mischievous and acting naive. Esther, go and revisit the political revelations made by Reverend Dr. Emmanuel Bosson in 2013 as politics and insecurity relate to power struggle. Religious wise, again, Obi around 2014 or thereabout said at a public forum at the then Ifron Petroleum Training Institute that there were plans to Fulanize Nigeria and Islamize the West African region. All right. St. Vicate in Ikotu, well done, sir. Thank you so much for your message. Good evening, Esther and your two guests. My name is Young from Agor Palace, Okota, Lagos. My opinion on this issue is that the present INEC chairman is the problem to the 2027 election, but I urge the citizens to be ready, go get their voters card, let's vote en masse, defend our vote, and move straight to INEC office where the results will be announced in large numbers. Good evening, Esther. It's sad listening to the caller by name Mark. His claim that all kidnapped victims except those in Oyo State is incorrect. He had called other stations stating saying, please, there's a need to stop the misinformation. Thank you for your high professional standards. Simisola from Isolo, Lagos. All right. Good evening, Esther, and all in the studio. Mr. Fred from Lagos, listening, Esther, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the only president that went into government without a single good plan to rule the country. He keeps borrowing and borrowing without a single investment. I believe that this insecurity is a machinery that they brought to destroy Goodluck Jonathan and some other Nigerians. Esther, go out and check. There are more mad people in Nigeria on this regime, and people are dying so much more on this administration. Esther, Nigeria is bleeding. Oh. In Esther, portable claims that the reason celebrities are not speaking out is because many of them will be silenced. That's a big fat lie. Those celebrities that can easily be silenced are those who have been paid to support the government. Even him speaking had collected money from Tinubu back then to support really. Okay, good evening, Esther. The opposition are not really playing the opposition role well. Look at the issues on Lyra Lincoln and INEC concerning the leaked server, classified documents on Emekarike's personal info. These alone is enough for the opposition to take the matter to the international community of nations as an indictment on the INEC chairman, and these have shown that the coming general elections are already compromised. Mr. Mark was wrong by mentioning Ghana amongst the countries experiencing insurgency in West Africa. This is St. Francis from Agor Palace Way. Agor Palace Way, Okota. Good evening, Esther. Please stop paying attention to Mark. Okay, I have heard. Martins from Songwater. Good evening, Esther Mwachukwu, your guest speaker, Imam from Shashan Kumojo. Please, Esther, ask the Lagos State government the measures they are putting in place for the Ebola outbreak. A market like Ladipo, Oshodi, and Arena are having huge refuse along the street and highways. Loma is busy increasing their bills while they're not cutting away the refuse. That's very true. Please, you guys, use your hygienic method. Oh, like no kidding. I don't joke with having wipes. Anytime I come to this studio, I clean everywhere before I mount this mic. Ebola is out there, and I heard the government has put up measures to check people while they're coming into Nigeria from certain countries that is considered a particular concern with health hazard. So please make sure you keep your environment very clean. All your door outposts, make sure they're clean, and please go and get your, what do you call that thing, that lubricant, that disinfectant that we use, hand sanitizer. Yes, please go and get it. It's very imperative and very important to be very conscious health wise. Ebola kills once you're exposed to it. The self-acclaimed Mr. Chooks is an imposter. He's a Yoruba man. I'm Yoruba. His accent betrays him. Okay, yeah, he's a Yoruba man, and then how is he imposing? I don't get. Okay. Good evening, BOP. Good evening to you. Some of your guests sound more like campaign director for Obi than analyst. A good analyst must balance issues and not be too one-sided. Opalaya Emmanuel from Isolo. I love VOP more than any other station in this country. Thank you, Opalaya Emmanuel. We need to wrap up the conversation. I think I tried in taking most of the messages. To be honest with you, I think I tried today. I did more messages than calls. All right. Thank you so much. I sincerely do appreciate all of you. God bless you for staying with us. We'll continue to update you on issues. DLI is coming up next, and this is obviously where I say good night to you. Take care of yourselves. My name is Esther Machuku. Esther Nwaz on Instagram. ESTANWAZ. Estic Media on YouTube. That's ESTIQMEDIA. Kindly subscribe. And Esther Machuku on Facebook. If you're a teacher and you need links to get a job, send me a message on Facebook. I'll send you the links. Make sure you're a qualified teacher. Do have yourself a wonderful evening. Bye for now.